The Democratic Party, when you could tell when you're dealing with the Democratic Party, because when they can't govern, when they can't provide health care, education, uh, good, simple, common sense policies that would actually benefit the greater whole, uh, they love to virtue signal. They love to virtue signal. In fact, that's pretty much the only thing that the Democratic Party um, differs from the Republican Party, because really they're just Republican in blue clothing. They really are. Every single aspect of them just screams Republican Party, pro-war, pro-Wall Street, anti-worker, anti-union, uh, Republican, but they virtue signal. They pretend to care about, LGBTQ rights and racism and sexism and misogyny and any other of those buzzwords that AOC likes to project. So I want to show you this though. This is hilarious. So this is from 1993, and this is from Rush Limbaugh. And I know people are gonna cringe at that name because, let me tell you something, I'm no fan of Rush Limbaugh either. He unfortunately died from cancer, which I do have to say that's kind of bad because I know how people suffering from cancer. I know family members that suffer through cancer. It's not something great. It's something, devastating. So any person that has dealt with cancer, I feel bad for them regardless. But I want to show this because this is probably one of the most hilarious things I've ever heard from Rush Limbaugh. Because 99.9% of the time, I have to cringe at everything they says because it's just completely just grotesque. But this is from 1993, and it's laughable because this could be exactly and almost like an SNL sketch of what it's like to be a current moderate Democrat. This is from 1993, where Rush Limbaugh is about to do a comedy skit about virtue signaling, using lapel pins. You can see right there. So you probably guess where this is going, but let's hear for ourselves just how crazy this is, because it's so almost accurate to a moderate Democrat. Take a listen.
Because I'm wearing these ribbons, I care more than any of you about anything. And these ribbons say so. I want you people sitting at home and you people in the audience, look down at your lapel right now. I want you to do this. Put the camera back up on me. Do this. When you look down, what do you see? You don't see anything because you're not wearing any ribbons. It means you're a bigot. It means you're a racist. It means you're a sexist. It means you're a homophobe. It probably means you're a white guy. It probably means you're a European, and you alone are responsible for all the ills of America. But I'm not, because I'm wearing these ribbons. I care more than you.
Oh, God. That is the funniest thing I've ever heard from Rush Limbaugh. It's funny because it's true. It's so funny because it's true. And I guess I don't care about anything because I'm wearing a t-shirt with a skyline pattern on it. I don't have any fake pins on here, so I guess I'm a terrible person. I'm a sick bastard for wearing a t-shirt. And I don't have, multicolor pins. But it's funny because it's so accurate. It's so friggin' accurate to what it takes to be a moderate Democrat. And that's what little they have left. Because they don't have any substantial policies to actually implement what they're saying. Like, if they really cared about racism and LGBTQ rights, would you not recognize those people as the same as white workers and try to get everybody, a good paying job, living wages? I think there would be the most you can do for a black person in America is provide them health care, get them a good job, get them a good education so they can train for a good job, and give them living wages and substantial housing. Like, that can be said for every single individual, because regardless of their credence, regardless of their backgrounds, we're all human beings. We all need the basics of survival. And if you don't have any of that to the point of clean drinking water, which if you look at parts of America, they don't even have that. They don't even have substantial clean drinking water coming through their taps. If they don't even have that, then why the hell does none of this make sense? None of this friggin' matters. That you're wearing a bunch of pins or you attend a pride parade or anything like that. If you're not willing to actually provide the substantial priorities of basic human beings, then you don't really care about LGBTQ rights. You really don't care about racism. You really don't care about any of that stuff because you're not willing to help the human race, which everyone's included into it. Everybody's a part of it. But they use virtue signaling to attack people, and that's all they have. They try to prioritize themselves and put themselves on a pedestal because, oh, I wear this pin, or I'm doing this, but you're not actually helping those people. Like a good example of it is that Joe Biden will not provide substantial housing or health care or end the prison population, mass incarceration, to honor African American people, but he also made Juneteenth a holiday. That's the virtue signaling. That's the Democrats for you. They'll make Juneteenth a holiday, but they won't end the incarceration bill that Joe Biden implemented back in 1993. That kind of shows you how things are quickly escalating, how things are completely reversed. That, you know, we were always told that it was the Republicans that were the most racist. The Republicans are the ones that are doing the most devious stuff. And some of them mostly are. Some of them mostly are. But the Democrats have now taken that and placated for their own party, and things are getting even worse. Now you have two parties that couldn't care less about poor colored people in America. That's why they did headlines. The New York Times did headlines about black people in Wisconsin, how they voted for Barack Obama twice and didn't bother to vote for Hillary Clinton. Why? Because the Democratic Party screwed them over for 8 years. They had George W. Bush, they took the chance on Barack Obama, and things got worse for them. So what did they do? They gambled on a game show host. That's what happened in America. That's what happened in 2016. Not because people just automatically became racist or misogynistic or couldn't care less about people. No, it's because people that are in control of the Democratic Party couldn't care less about their workers, couldn't care less about blue-collar workers and people that they're supposed to care about, and they had to roll the dice on a game show host because the establishment has oppressed them so hard that even Barack Obama, a black guy with a Muslim-sounding name, screwed them so hard that they were so desperate for any sort of change, even if it came from a phony goddamn reality star. They would have picked freaking Kim Kardashian over Hillary Clinton. That's how desperate America was. And it's all because of this virtue signaling that doesn't help people. It doesn't help the cause. It doesn't do anything for substantial people. All it does is exactly what Rush Limbaugh is mocking about. It makes you look good. It makes you feel like empowered and narcissistic. Oh, look at all the pins I'm wearing. I guess I care more than you. But does that actually substantially help that person? Does it actually implement into policy? Does that all talk go into, action? No. They'll not do that. They wouldn't care less about that. But they say they care about workers, but they won't actually do it. Which is why this joke is so hilarious. 1993, Rush Limbaugh, sounding the most Democrat right there. Unironically, sounding the most Democrat right now. Because of all the virtue signaling, the identity politics. That's why they'll do everything that they can to try to conceal nominees that, personify their identity politics, but then once you actually get into the nit and grit of what they're actually representing, it's no different. It's no different than the Republicans. Really no goddamn difference. And Ryan Knight even points this out. I was a sucker for the Democrats, vote for us or democracy dies messaging that roll out every election. So this, they did during the midterms too. That, oh, we don't have anything to govern with. We don't have any policies to implement because we failed so much on the people that all you have left is to vote for democracy. That's their biggest campaign reach out. You have to vote because democracy needs to be saved. That's what little the Democratic Party has for you. And let me tell you something. If you had to choose between a stroke victim and a television doctor who's been sued because he was trying to sell magic beans to people, if that's the choice, if that's democracy for America, I don't think it's worth saving. Now that may be me. That maybe make sound a little narcissistic myself. Maybe that sounds a little heartbreaking. That I would say something like that. But honestly, if those are your two options, I feel bad for those people. I really do feel bad. If that's the only way you can get out, because as it's pointed out, there is no democracy. It's an oligarchy. There's no way to vote out for war. There's no way to vote out against corruption. There's no way to vote out Wall Street. There's no way to vote out. And all the midterms is an illusion. It's an illusion to make you feel like there's change. Feel like there's opportunity, but there isn't. Because the only winners that come out of this is Goldman Sachs. The only winners that come out of this is Lockheed Martin and Raytheon and Wall Street and ExxonMobil. Those are the winners, and they'll always have a majority. They'll always have a say. They'll always come out on top. And who loses during midterms or general elections? Everybody else. Everybody else. Ryan Knight also says, it wasn't until I looked beyond their rhetoric and pay attention to how they govern that I realized there is no democracy to save here. Both parties serve the oligarchy. Exactly. And by the way, Democrats have spent more than $53 million boosting far-right candidates in primaries. So now do you feel like a chump? Now do you feel like a chump with all the midterm stuff? All the propaganda that they're trying to say, like, oh, you got to vote to save democracy. All the celebrities that came out and voted. Don't you feel like a true chump right now? That even the Democratic Party is siding with the other party because they don't want to pick actual candidates that represent you? Don't you feel like a severe chump right now? It's like the people that, cheered on Obama. I was one of those people. I cheered on Obama in 2008. I thought there was going to be hope. I thought there was going to be change. I thought the Democrats are actually going to make a turnaround. They didn't. That's why you got Donald Trump. That's why you got Joe Biden right now. Because nothing is going to fundamentally change ever. Ever. Nothing's going to fundamentally change ever in the electoral process. It's all an illusion. It's all a game. It's all there to pretend you have democracy when really your democracy has been bought out decades ago. That's what's happening here. And just also this too, that I just want to show out, because this is a perfect diagram here to sum up exactly what this is all about. So someone did this Venn diagram here, and just goes to show you, like, again, the midterms. They may look like they're on opposing parties, but really they're the same people. Democrats, yeah, they're pro-choice, pro-LGBTQ, talk about problems but don't fix them, tell you to vote harder. That's the Democrats for you. Republicans, pro-life, pro-guns, pro-Jesus, ignore problems that don't affect me. MAGA. That's what makes them a Republican. But what makes them side, together, and as George Carlin points out, when two parties become bipartisan, that's when you know you're getting a real scrutiny, is they're both imperialism. They're both for neoliberalism. Total support for Israel. Military-industrial complex. Total support for Wall Street. Increasing police funding. Mass surveillance. Letting money rule politics. Suppress third parties. Crushing the left. That's what comes on top of every single election cycle. That is why yelling and screaming at people to vote is not going to encourage people to vote. All the celebrities out there that are trying to tweet and say, you have to get out there and vote because you don't care about democracy otherwise. it doesn't do anything. It's not going to get people to vote if there's nothing to vote for. And that's what people have to understand that. They have to understand that. That both parties are there to serve Wall Street. The only people that come on top is Goldman Sachs and the top elitists, and everyone else gets screwed over. And that's what the midterm results showed. And that's what Rush Limbaugh is mocking here, is that all the Democrats have is virtue signaling. Because they're really just Republicans in disguise.